of your base work is going to have one thing in common. You're going to install 4 inches of base, and you're going to do a 2-inch base pour at a time using 3/8 minus. It's your paver fine, stuff like that, anything that you can get locally. You install 2 inches at a time, compact it, and what I like to do is do a 2-inch compaction, install my weed barrier on top of that, follow that back up with another 2-inch pour of my base. That base work is going to be consistent no matter what outdoor application you're using outside. Now with a putting green, you got all your different cups. When you install your cup, use your post hole digger after you've done your base work, dig out your hole, take some concrete, pour it around there, pack it in there, wait for it to set a little bit, then screen over the top with your limestone screenings. This is the fun part, is working around objects. It's not that difficult. You don't need to break your brain as much as possible. And I'm here just to try and show you guys things. So again, we've done this for a while and we've made our fair share of mistakes, and we've also learned simple techniques to keep things simple and to maximize our time and do everything efficient. What we're gonna put is what we call a stress cut. We're gonna come in, we're gonna cut down, and now it's gonna allow us to fold our grass as we work our way. I'll show you here. This is the seam tape that we use. You can see it has a shiny side and then it will have a dull side. Shiny side is always down. When this stuff adheres, that shiny side is there to protect everything on the backing. This will not stick if you use the shiny side under your seam. I do my seam, I'm gonna relax my grass further and I'm gonna do a top-down cut. You can use a carpet cutter scissors or something like that. I like to use utility knives with like a carbide blade on there. It stays sharper longer, it doesn't dull. If you have dull blades, make sure you're changing them as frequently as possible. It's very important to have sharp blades out here. You don't want to snag your grass. Any snags, and you could take out a tuft, you could go off course and then leave little gaps. That's just stuff that you want to try and eliminate as much as possible. So here, and there you go, that's what I'm talking about, a top-down cut. Make sure you have it in the center of your seam, line your seam up, give it a test run, and make sure you have the distance, the lengths of everything in which you like it. And again, I don't know if anybody wants to take a look, but 1/8 of an inch isn't that much. And when you pour your glue, do not over pour. If you over pour, especially with a putting green, this stuff will seep out the side of your seam tape, and you will actually be able to feel that inside your putting green area. So that'll mess up your ball roll. You don't need a crazy thick pour.
Does it come green or do you dye it green?
It actually comes in different colors. That one is actually clear over there. Okay. I'm only using this one because it's a pour bottle versus something I'd have to scoop out. So for this situation, it's a little bit better. And then we're gonna go ahead and trowel it, kind of flatten it out a little bit, spread it even, get it everywhere. Now if you have a little extra on your sides, that's okay, but it's very important that you don't have globs of it in the middle of your seam, especially with putting greens, because you will be able to see that. Now, it's very important that you have one person holding and feeding you the grass. Normally with your regular landscape grass, you're having a 2-inch blade. And a lot of those times, those blades, the thatch, all that stuff will be bending down and it'll be inside of your seam. And it's very important to make sure that that seam is clear. You can see with this backing, it's very good quality and our grass does not even bend down. There's really nothing I have to clear out of my way, so I can just pretty much go straight to the install of the seam. And we're gonna work that down. He's gonna feed it to me. Okay, as I said before, I use my bender board as my guide. So I'm gonna locate it, put my knife down, For this process, you'll want to make sure you got a sharp blade on there. Now, when we do our staples, you can, if you're using a stake, like a 6-inch nail, you can go every 2 to 4 inches apart before you have to nail your other one down. With staples, I tend to go about 1 to 2 inches tops. And when we're using the gun itself, you want to regulate your air pressure at about 120. You do not want this shooting in there to the maximum speed that it can go. What that'll do is actually shoot through the backing system and it will rip through that. Some of your tufts may even come out on the backside. So that's something you want to watch as when you're going ahead and using your staple guns too, is regulating that air pressure. And we'll go ahead and start. And you can see, this is what I was talking about. In the end, it saves you so much time versus using your regular stakes. And I mean, you can't really pull that up at all. So here's your tough side. This is your tough side. This is what are called tufts back here. And now I refer to this side as my fat side. Okay, so my tough and my fat side, when I'm doing a vertical seam and I'm installing my seam, it's meant so that the line back up perfectly as if it just came off the manufacturing roll. If you come in between the tufts, you'll see there's a little valley. In between, you have all your grass inside there, there's a little valley. What you can also do is guide yourself and just follow that.
Oh, you're saying where the dip is.
Yep, exactly. And you can, that's another way, that's a quick way of going about it.
Right.
You see? But you gotta have a steady hand, make sure your hand isn't shaking a little bit, you're not too nervous doing it. That's why I recommend using the board and following your line all the way down.
Gotcha.
So you can do something like that and it's pretty straight. Almost as good as a manufacturing cut. I know they call me the machine. Now all this in here is of no importance to me. This is all waste. So I'm just gonna create my stress cut just so I can fold it down. Fold this up to about the equal line here. Keep going. All right, you're good. I mean, it is a top-down cut, so it is a little bit harder. You gotta put a little bit of struggle in there. So we're just wrapping up things today. Our last little thing is just cutting in the rest of our fringe grass and seaming up some of these little edges here. And then we have a little strip there to seam. Now once we're finished with Go Green's products, this stuff is coming off the manufacturing roll at a 9.5 to a 14 on the stem scale. So you really don't even need to add any infill whatsoever. But our fringe grass, we will install at least a 2-pound application of our regular number 16, number 35, whatever we're able to get a hold of that's around that size. And you know, that's pretty much the end of the process behind the artificial grass installation. Hope it was very helpful to you guys. Go Green!